Hi guys, this is going to be a video for the second red leader out of the set, and it's going to be the Hellfighter 17, or known as the Super 17 leader. So this leader, as you guys seen from the title, in my opinion, is a very aggressive leader, and the reason being is that it has access to double strike. Even though it doesn't have the word double strike printed on this card, it has double strike because of this card called the Power Infused Shocking Death Ball. So if you guys want to read this card real quick, when this card is placed in the battle area, your red Super 17 leader gets plus 5k power for the turn, and it has an activate battle limit 1. Place up to one of your Z energy into the drop area, remove this card from the game, and then choose up to one of your Super 17 cards, and it gets double strike for the battle. So the limit 1 is very important because there's a way for you to spam this out multiple times in a same turn, and so I'll get to that in a second. But for the front side, you are able to play a field spell right off the bat from when you place this card in the leader area. So you're technically just playing with 49 cards, so that increases the consistency of the deck because you're playing less card in your deck. So if we read the field spell here, it has barrier, and then it says it has a lot of text. The first text is whenever you play a Super 17, whenever you play it, you get to place up to one of your red Android 17 or Hellfighter 17 from your combo area underneath your leader. You're probably wondering, why do you have to place cards underneath your leader? Let's look at the backside here. The backside here, it says place a total of 3 cards from underneath all your red Super 17 cards in the drop area. That includes your battle area as well. So if you have cards underneath your battle area, you can place the top 3. You can place 3 cards total, and then you can restand one of your Super 17 cards, including the leader, and this card gets plus 10k power for the turn. So that's very important if you want to be able to be aggressive, being able to restand these big battle cards. We'll get into that in a second. The other ability says whenever your Power Infused Shocking Death Ball leaves the battle area, place up to one red Android 17 and red Hellfighter 17 from your drop underneath your leader. So this is allowing you to basically fuel up the backside so that you're allowed to use the activate main and then be able to restand a card. To actually awaken with this leader, it's actually whenever you're at 5 or less life, it doesn't have an alternative awakening condition like all the leaders before it. So you're not going to Z charge for the most part in the first turn of the game, but I do suggest that you do because you're going to be doing some shenanigans that this deck is able to do very well. So, and then it has the ability here to take its life down. By taking 1 life, you can look at the top, or you place 1 red Android card with an energy cost of 1 from your deck into the owner's drop area. So the reason why you want to send a 1 cost Android card is so you can have the specific requirements fulfilled for a lot of the androids to be played. So for example, the 6 drops, that's why I play 4 copies of each of the 6 drops. The 6 drops require that you have at least 2 or more energy, and you have to have 1 or more Android 17 or 1 or more Hellfighter in your combo area. So this allows you to basically combo from the drop area because it has an activate battle here to be able to use one of your red Android with the combo cost of 5k from the drop in a combo with the skills negated. So that allows you to facilitate, since you're dumping on the backside, the front side. Since you're dumping on the front side and then comboing from the drop on the backside, you're able to bring these out quite easily. So let's get into the 6 drop. I think that's kind of the crux of this deck and why it's kind of aggressive and then possibly even oppressive. So let's read this one right here. It says whenever this card is played, draw 1 card, then place up to 1 Power Infused Shocking Death Ball from your Z deck into your battle area. So why is that important? Well, you're going to be able to free play these cards out without having to pay the Z energy and as well as the energy. So you're able to free play this card mid battle, and then it makes your leader hit really hard with the double strike. And so that's kind of the idea behind it. And then also on top of that, you can play this out for only 1 energy during the battle, so you're able to draw a card. The other one does kind of the same thing. It places the Power Infused Shocking Death Ball from your Z deck into the battle area, but then it allows you to choose one of your opponent's battle card and it gets minus 20k. So some sort of control in the midst of all of it, and it does play itself for 1 energy, much like the other one. So you might be wondering, why is this deck even aggressive in the first place? I'm just spamming a bunch of 25ks. Well, the issue is not really that. The issue is that they're be able to play as early as turn 2. So it has sort of like an early mechanic, and by turn 3 and 4, you're going to be playing these cards right here. You can swing with these cards, assuming that they're still there, and then you can restand them using any of the EX Evolve skills. So for this one, for example, the Super 17 Sibling Fusion, whenever it's played, draw 1 card and switch this card to active mode. So when you EX Evolve on top of a card, it usually comes into the same position that your previous card before it was in. So if you swing with this card and it's in rest mode, and you EX Evolve on top of this, then it restands itself, draws a card, and then not only that, when this card attacks or activates a blocker skill, switch this card to active mode. So you can kind of see how much attacks you're getting on the turn 3. Basically on turn 3, because this card is able to attack at a maximum time of 3 times. So you swing once with this, you restand with this, and then you attack with that, and then it restands itself, and then you attack again, and then you use the activate main on the backside to restand it again. So this is actually the less powerful of the two, because this one right here is the one that has critical. So if you have 3 more energy, you can EX Evolve, and it does the same thing where it draws a card and switches itself to active mode, and then when it attacks, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle card and place it underneath this card. So the key thing is that it has critical, and that is able to attack multiple times. So it attacks like, let's see if we can count here. So you attack with this guy, he doesn't have critical. You EX Evolve on this guy, he attacks once, he has critical. And then you use the you use the skill on the backside, and then you're flipping this to active mode, and then you're attacking again for another critical. So 30k critical on turn 3 seems pretty good in my opinion, to be able to do that. However, they do have the 30k base stat, so if you're playing the red matchup, I imagine cards like Violent Ray, which is the main deck in this, is to be able to stop this deck from actually doing so much damage. So Violent Ray might be actually useful in this matchup after all. Let's go into the 1-drops. So the 1-drop here is the one that's able to be played if you draw a card, but it also allows you to combo it from the drop area by discarding a card. That's kind of important, especially if you don't have the copies of it in your hand anymore. And that's why you typically need to have 1 or 2 in the drop area by the front side of the ability, by the front side of this leader to be able to dump them. So that draws you a card and then allows you to combo pretty well. And this is a Hellfighter version, which allows you to combo as well from the drop area. But it looks at the top 5 cards for your 6-drop. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go into this one right here. The other Hellfighters of the deck. This one makes the decks more consistent because it allows you to search for the top 5 for a Super 17 card or an Android 17 card, so either or. And then it also allows you to draw a card when it comes into play. So that's why I played 2 copies of it, whereas this one I only play 1 copy of it. This one's kind of a less useful version. It does minus 15k when it's played, and it plays itself out for 1 energy. So not too impressive there, but this card just makes the deck more consistent. And then we're going to go into the 8-drop, which is the last one. It's the SR of the set. I only opted to play 3 copies of it because on the same turn that you're playing the 7-drops, you're most likely not going to have to play this card that much. Maybe this card gets a little better on turn 3 and ahead, but I haven't really tested it that far ahead because this deck can pretty much clear the game pretty quickly. So anyways, what this card does is it places 1 Android in your Z energy underneath this card, and then you draw 1 card, and then you switch this card to active, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle card and gets minus 20k for the turn. So it kind of interacts on your opponent's turn because it's an activate battle, and then you have another activate battle here that allows you to play it, and it has barrier for the turn. So it has blocker and barrier, which is kind of nice for defense, but for the most part, the name of the game for this deck is to be able to play aggressive games because he doesn't really untap an energy. He draws 2 on the Awaken. So automatically you know that this leader is supposed to be used for like aggressive tendencies. Yeah, and then you want to attack on the front side. I always forget to mention this. You want to attack on the front side before you awaken, and then because on the back side it says whenever a Super 17 attacks, you draw a card. So you're able to generate another +2. So that's really cool there. And then let's go into the other cards. The other card I do play out of this set is the SCR out of here, the Victory Strike Goku. Because it's generic, all you have to do is have 7 or less cards in your hand. And since you are playing a red deck and you're going to be comboing quite a few, you're going to have less cards in your hand so that you can play this guy out for 45k, 1 energy Victory Strike. It does have an auto here that allows you to clear all your opponent's battle cards or by warping them if your opponent activates a blocker or counter skill. So that means counterattacks or counter play or even a blocker. This card is going to be able to clear all their battle cards if they do that, and they have to send 1 card from their hand to the warp. So that's going to be really good Victory Strike, and it only costs 1. So it's going to definitely power creep the other Victory Strike that we have currently. And then we, of course, we have the testing opposition because you are going to go down to 5 life when you do awaken, so that's kind of nice. And so that allows you to basically utilize the testing the opposition so that you can negate some attacks. And then you're going to be down at 4, and you do play Z extras after all, so you can play Explosive Dance here, much like all the other red leaders preceding it. And the last one but not least, we do have the 7-drop here that allows you to combo itself in rest mode, and it does play itself out as a 1-drop for 1 energy on 2 energy 2, draws a card, and it allows you to have the name for Android 17 and Hellfighter 17 so that you can play your Super 17 pretty safely and pretty efficiently. So the last one here, we have the Z battle card. That's the Hellfighter 17 Return of Despair. This is a card that, even though it does allow you to play the 6-drop from your hand on top of this in active mode, I don't quite necessarily need it for the most part. That's why it's only at 2. It does reduce itself down to 1 energy if you do have 3 or more energy and 2 or more red Android card in your Z energy. So it reduces itself down to 1. You can swing with it once, and then use the Unit Absorb to play the Super 17 with the energy cost of 6 on top of it in active mode. So you definitely you don't really need to play this card too much, which is why there's only 2 copies. I might even bump down to 1 and then play 4 copies of this, because the idea is to play these guys out with their own energy stipulations anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You do play this card here, the Android 18, and the Android 18 is just there for the 20k dual attack. So I think it's probably going to be a staple for the red decks going forward. Who knows? We'll find out soon enough. And then we have the old card here, the Android 13. I only play 1 copy of it because in case you don't open up something, which is very unlikely because this deck is pretty archetypal, you're going to be able to, just play the cards. These are just filler cards. You can just probably actually not play these cards at all, even though there are androids and they're really good red cards. The core idea is to be able to play your archetype engine, and is very consistent on being able to be played on a turn-by-turn basis. Okay, that's pretty much it. We're going to go into the gameplay video right after this, so stay tuned for that. Alright guys, now this is going to be the gameplay video for the Super 17 leader, and so we're going to start off the game here by being able to play the Fuel spell right straight from the deck, so that you're playing a 1 less card in your deck, and so I'm going to be playing 49 cards. Already winning this game. Just kidding. So we're going to shuffle our deck here. We're going to draw our 6 cards here, and then we're going to see what we can do with our 6 cards so that we can find the most aggressive hand possible. It looks like we didn't draw any of the 1 cost out of our hand, and we did draw our 6 costs, but we don't need any of these cards, so we're going to do a full mulligan here so that we can start the game in a optimal fashion. So we're going to shuffle our deck here and see what happens. We're going to draw our 6 cards here, and it looks like we did draw our multiple 1-drops actually, and so we can actually play this game right off the bat. So what we're going to do here is set up our life here, and let's start this game right off the bat. So what we're going to do here, since we have multiple copies of the Hellfighters, we're going to charge one of them into our energy. We're going to play the 1 energy here to, before we play the 1 energy, we want to use the ability on the leader side, on the front side, to take the life down to 7 life on the first turn. And then dump whatever you don't have in your hand. Since we have both copies and we have 2 copies of each in our deck, then we're going to discard one of them straight to the drop area. So we're going to discard a 17 because it is only the one that lets us draw a card. Okay, so then we're going to pay the 1 energy here to play the Hellfighter number 17, and this is going to allow us to look at the top 5 cards for an android that costs 6 or less. So we're going to do that, and we want to be able to look for the 6 or less copy of this so that we can play the game. Looks like we didn't see any copies of it, so we're going to have to add the critical one. The critical one's fine, but we're going to have to hope that we draw into our 6-drop, otherwise this deck is not going to flow too well. So on our opponent's turn, we're actually not going to Z-charge the Hellfighter on the board here. We're actually going to just charge one of the cards in our hand here because we want to keep this up for comboing purposes. So yeah, and then if they do attack us one more time, which is unlikely, but we want them to get hit anyways, we're going to go down to 6 life. Okay, so we're going to take the next turn here, drawing us a card. And it looks like we didn't draw our 6-drop yet, which is kind of unfortunate, but we have 2 copies of this. We're going to charge this card straight to our energy here. And then from here, what we're going to do here is try to use the ability here to take a life, and hopefully it's out of our life, a 6-drop that we might need, and we still didn't see it. So what we're going to do here is dump the other Android 17 or Hellfighter because we have 2 copies of it in our deck. And looking at our deck here, we do have multiple copies of the 6-drop. All we have to do is draw into it. Hopefully we are able to draw into it and look at it from the top of our deck. Okay, from here, what we're going to do is swing with this leader, and then by doing so, we're going to draw a card. And then mid-combo here, hopefully we are able to draw it. I'm hoping for the best here. We're going to awaken here, drawing the 2 cards, and we still didn't draw the 6-drop. So because this is going to be an anomaly game, a high variance game, we are going to just add the card. So for the sake of learning, of course, we're just going to add the card straight to our hand and only draw 1 card. So we're just going to add the one that we want, which is going to be this one right here. Okay, so we're going to shuffle our deck, draw 1 more card because we added the other card to our hand, and then we're going to utilize the ability on the backside here to combo with the Android 17 from our drop area, allowing us to fulfill the name. And then what we're going to do here is put this in our combo area, and now we fill the conditions so that we can play out this Android 17 here. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to pay the 1 energy here, play out the Android 17, drawing us a card, and this allows us to play the Shocking Infused Death Ball from our Z deck for free. So yep, so this comes out in play, and so this is actually going to make it so that our leader gets another plus 5k power. So we're just going to put a counter here. I believe you. So we're going to put a counter here, and that's going to gain a marker, and then not a marker, but a plus 5k indicator. And then on top of that, what we can do here is, since we have a Z energy, we can actually utilize the Power Infused Shocking Death Ball to send it off to the drop. If we had another copy, let's just pretend we did, because we want to learn how to play this deck to see what it's capable of doing. So let's say you're able to have both copies of this card as well as this card in your hand. Then what you can do here is pay the 1 energy on top of that. But let's just do this first. We're going to use this ability here to send the Z energy to the drop area, and we're going to warp this off to the warp, and then we're going to give this guy double strike for the turn. Now what we can do is, since the Power Infused Shocking Death Ball is gone, we can pay the 1 energy here to play the other 17, theoretically speaking, of course, because we haven't been consistent with the actual gameplay. But what we can do is, we can theoretically play this card, place yet another Shocking Death Ball on the battle area, from the Z deck into the battle area. So now we've played 2 Shocking Death Ball in 1 turn, and this is going to give our leader yet another plus 5k here. And then that's just not all here. What we can do here is, since we have this out and we played a Super 17, we can place one of the Android 17 or 18 from the combo area back into the underneath the leader here. So that's what we're going to do here. And so we're going to be hitting for 25, 30k double strike literally on turn 2, and that's going to be pretty good. And then, not to mention, this is able to control your opponent's battle card if they have one by minus 20k here. So already off the bat, we have 225k that's able to swing. So we're going to hit for a total of 30k double strike. So from there, we're going to Z-charge this card, and then we can hit for 25k and 25k. So a total of 4 damage already dispersed on turn 2 without doing much. And then most likely what we can do here is defend against the 25Ks, because they're really hard to get rid of because they have such a high stat. And so let's assume that nothing happens to them, and then we actually take damage. In this hand, sometimes you do have testing the opposition, because if you have 5 life, you can just activate it. But let's just take the damage and pretend that nothing happened, and then we take the turn here to go down to 4. So that's going to happen there. And then now we have a load of 7 drops here that we can play. And since this EX Evolve is not once per turn, we can actually play both of them. So what we're going to do here is we're going to charge this Hellfighter here. And turn 3 is pretty devastating. What we're going to do is swing with this guy for 25k. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to draw a card on the backside. I forgot to draw the backside last turn because whenever it says whenever one of your red 17 card attacks, you draw a card. And then we're going to draw again because on this turn it did draw. So yeah. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to EX Evolve on top of this onto the critical. And so when it comes into play, it comes into active mode. You draw a card, and then when it does attack, to absorb one of your opponent's battle cards. And it does have critical, which is really nice. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to attack here, and then we're going to utilize the backside of your leader to combo one of your Hellfighters into the combo area. Okay, and don't forget that this card here also allows you to place 1 card underneath your leader area. So that's what we can do here. We can place this card underneath the leader area here, and then now you have a total of 3 cards total underneath cards. So this one has 2, and this one has 1. So you can use the activate battle or activate main later after you deal damage with this. So this attacks, and then now what you can do here is use the activate main to place all of the 17s and androids into the drop area. And place it in the drop area here, and then you're able to restand this critical pressure and then attack again. And that's not all. You can actually swing with this 25k as well. Pay the 1 energy to play yet another copy of this card. And because it's not limit 1, you're able to EX Evolve and then draw a card. And now you have another form of critical pressure, which is really good so far. We want to keep this up because we want to leave that 1 energy open so we can play the explosive dance on our opponent's turn. And then we can hit for here for another 15k. Okay, so on our opponent's turn, they're most likely going to get floodgated because we now have the required Z extra card in our battle area, and then we have 4 or less life. So it's already off to a good start here to floodgate our opponent. And if we really want, we can actually test the opposition on top of that to be able to control your opponent. So literally on turn 3, we have all this pressure here. Only thing we haven't done yet is this one, which was speak of the devil, was it already here? So let's see. We actually can hit with these. Draw a card. Don't forget to do that. Make sure that you're using these skills to be able to place cards underneath when you're able to do that. So what we're going to do is combo from our drop area using the backside of our leader, placing this back underneath our leader. So now we have another way to put stuff underneath our leader here. And then we just need to have one more so that we can actually play. I think we can do this with this one. Yeah, it says here that if you have one Android 17 or 18, so let's pretend we didn't do that just yet. We're going to combo this one. We're actually going to use the drop area ability to be able to combo them, although we needed to have this one out. So yeah, we're just going to have to combo a 17 from our hand here. So yeah, because you could use this card from the drop area, remember that. So all you have to do is discard a card and then combo it. So now we have those both these cards in the combo area. We can pay the 1 energy here as an activate battle. Then we can play this guy out and draw a card, and it has barrier for the turn, and then allows you on activate battle to place an android from our Z energy underneath this card. So that's what we can do here. We can place this underneath, and now we have a way to switch this to active mode. We're going to wait to use this ability. I'm sorry. So this card comes out with barrier, and so now what we can do here is swing with this 30k and then use the activate battle to pay the 1 energy here to slip this 17 underneath him, and that allows him to restand him. Restand him, draw a card, and then you get to minus 20k to something. All right, so now we have a 30k blocker ability. We could attack with it, but we do want to have the blocker ability because it has the barrier until the end of your opponent's turn. So we're going to use that, attack for critical. We can even use the ability here to slip cards underneath. I forgot to do this. So we can put this underneath here. So we can put this underneath using the field spell. And then now we have a total of 3 cards. We're going to Z-charge this card. And then we can even use the double strike ability as well. On top of that, so we can use double strike crit. And then we can use this ability here of our leader to place this all in the drop area. This one, and this one. And then you can restand this guy and then be able to hit. And then now he's 30k critical, and then you can actually send this off to the warp, and then you could essentially just give him double strike crit. And then if you have another copy, let's just say you have another copy of this, then you're able to put so much pressure so early on, and then you're able to play your third copy of the Powerball, and then you still leave 1 energy open so you can play Violent Ray and all your Floodgate like Explosive Dance. I think that's pretty much it. Let me see what else we haven't done yet. I mean, we haven't done a lot still. We haven't done the Victory Strike. The Victory Strike can be played for 1 energy, but you have to have less cards in your hand. We haven't done the Z battle card that allows us to Union Absorb. We can do that too, even if we didn't have the combo cards. So let's just say you bring out this guy out, but you do need 2 Z energies to do so. So this allows you to Union Absorb, hit for 15k. Like I said, it's not going to be played very much in much games, but in case you run out of combo power, you can do so. Let's just put this back on our deck here. We haven't played this card, but it's basically the same thing. It allows you to look at the top 5 cards and draw a card, which is a +1 still because you are discarding a card, I believe. Yeah, so you get to fill up your Z energy so that you can play your Android stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we covered everything. Sometimes I did forget to use this ability to place cards underneath your leader, but for the most part, you don't need to optimally play this correctly to do the aggressive, oppressive plays. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video for the Super 17 leader, and that's going to be all for me. And then I will post another video for the blue stuff next weekend, hopefully, and then you'll catch me on that one. So the next one should be the blue Broly, I believe. So yeah, I'll see you guys later, and peace out.